make sure you're quiet. Joseph, get out of the living room, please. Okay, I mean, you got 2 minutes. What's your schedule? What time do you pitch today?
Yeah, I missed it.
What time? I want to come watch. Approximately. What time does your practice start? Well, when you don't know, just text me. No, well, just tell Moity if you see some guy in a red shirt that it's me. Yeah. Okay. I'll just meander. Fine. All right. It's not over. What time does your practice typically start? Okay. That's fine. Just text me.
After practice, I'm gonna look for Dave. Probably, I don't know. I might go straight to work, but I'm not listening to cameras next to
Turn that sideways, crooked. Make sure the whole thing. It's good. I got it. Working okay? Can you hear my mic okay? Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to The Smile. My name's Joe Mitiga, and I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. It's just a thrill to be here, and I've got some really exciting news. We asked our guest this time, Dan Miller, to see if he could reschedule because I just have so much stuff I need to tell you today about upcoming things happening here in October that I didn't want to cut into Dan's time. And I also wanted to be very respectful of all of you and all of the people around the globe that are listening. You know, every 2 weeks we come to you hoping to bring a smile to your face and hoping to uplift your heart a little bit. We're here to do just that. And together, we are creating a movement around the globe called the Smile. And I have to say, the successes we have had are just amazing. For those of you that are brand new to the call today, welcome. My name is Joe Mitiga. Like I said, I'm here to truly just bring a message of hope, bring a message of inspiration, bring a message of wonderment to the world. And typically we have a guest that shares their story of inspiration. Though today, you know, we have so much stuff going on. I figured I would just kind of take a few minutes and share with you myself. How this all started was several months ago. I was in South Africa. I did a TEDx down there. I learned some things about the world I just didn't know. And I'm one of these guys that when I have an inspiration, I follow it. And that's part of my message to you today is what's going on in you that you need to follow that will help your world reach different places. And that's a lot of what my conversation is. If you see my book over my shoulder here called We, that book, by the way, is going to be available for everybody on the globe. It's going to be a free download. So please, in our future episodes, you'll see a place where you can click and go download the book. It's yours. It's ours. We did it together. And I want you to have it and tell everybody you know about it because the we that this book is talking about, how do we find connection in such a divided world? That we starts with each of us individually. And each of us individually are a we. We are a human self, we're a divine self, and we're an inner self. And honestly, I don't care if you're a person with modest means. I don't care if you're a billionaire watching this right now. I don't care if you live in the Serengeti and you're one of these people that, you know, has a world with no water, or if you live in Dubai and you're worth billions. We are all created in the same image. We're all created in God's image. And people have asked me all the time, I get it now quite frequently. They say, Joe, well, what religion are you? I said, I'm not. I just call myself a God guy. And why do I say that? I say that because I'm not here to talk to you about your afterlife. Religions are more about the way you follow on a day-to-day basis an entity that you believe in, and I support you 100%. My message here on the Smile is how are you living your today and how are you going to live your tomorrow? And if you live it from the highest sense of yourself, I promise you, you're going to feel the consequence, you're going to feel the experience, and the grander you feel inside, naturally, you're going to feel and develop a different outside world. You just are. So, some really exciting news, I have to say. Today, October the 1st, you know, we're going to do this. We'll be here about 20, 30 minutes today. But in 2 weeks, I'm going to actually be doing this live stream in Avril's studio in Dubai. And for those of you that don't know, Avril is the gentleman that has built this entire platform for me. If you need a social media person, get in touch with Avril. How do you find him? Go to projectsmile.world. And Project Smile, it was my original inspiration coming back from South Africa, but it was truly Avril's passion to change education that really put the footwork, the framework of Project Smile in place. And our website, projectsmile.working, what is it? It's free education. Not only education from the place of learning math for little kids. We've got programs on there to where literally, if you're young or you just have never been taught how to read or write or do math, we've got programs on there for you that will help. And people ask me, like, why does that make a difference? And I say, because we live in a globe today that some people just don't have the means. They don't have the monetary means necessary to gain the education they need to be able to move their world to the next place, whatever that is. And that's where Project Smile comes in. Now, we've also have a link there to one of the most sophisticated global education systems on the planet. And I'm not going to mention the name here. I'm not a partner with this person at all in any way, shape, or form. But in their own do's and don'ts of their website, they say you can give it for free to everybody. Find that website. If you go to Project Smile under education and you click on the top banner, you're going to see, I don't care what you want to learn, and I don't care what language you want to learn it in. These people over the past 12 or 13 years have created this educational system that is just fabulous. And I'm honored that we've had several hundred people now that we've pointed through our website, Project Smile, to this global entity. The place, though, that we're the most proud, and we're adding a new section, which I can hardly wait to talk about. I'm pretty sure, our folks have been working really hard on this. It's going to be a big announcement when we're in Dubai that what we've actually added, it'll be available then, hopefully. But the part that we're real excited about is our career modules. Currently, we have 20 different career modules. And what that means is if you're out there and you're wanting to learn a new career, go on there. There's 20 of them. Over time, as we continue to grow, as we make this into more and more of a global opportunity for people, we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of different career opportunities. Today, we have 20. The new technology that we're adding is language. We're going to have 6 different languages that are all going to be learning English through our technology. And we're super excited about that. We really, really are. And how do we know it's working? I was just on the phone with a lady the other day, and she's got this massive LinkedIn presence, and she and Avril, I'm going to hook her up with Avril because she does things that he doesn't, and he does things that she doesn't. And together, these people are just going to set the world on fire. And she says, how do you know if it's working, Joe? And because typically when people present something like this, they're looking at the dollars and cents. Well, folks, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the grace. I'm here because it feels good. And I have been graced with gratitude for decades. Wasn't always like that. So if you're in a super challenging place, please understand, I know. I get it. I've been there. I really, really have. I'm not today, I will say, but for the grace of God. And today, I can say that I live in a pretty abundant place, and Project Smile is my legacy program. My kids, when I die, my kids, who I've got two sons, they're going to be talking about how their dad, the crazy guy that he is, he wanted to change the education of the world. He wanted to create an environment where everybody had running water in their houses. And Project Smile is a vehicle for me to do that, for me to live my legacy. And with the amazing work of Avril and his team, Mitesh and I, we talk all the time. In fact, you can't see him. One of these days, I'm going to have him put a camera on himself, because without Mitesh and his team, none of this would be happening. Like literally zero of this would be happening. And my son Ryan makes fun of me all the time. They're like, Dad, how can you do a live stream? You don't even know what a live stream is. I said, I don't have to. He says, why is that? I said, because I've got these brilliant men in India that they know what to do. Literally, Mitesh, he texts me the whole day, the whole morning. Mr. Joe, be here. Mr. Joe, do that. So I get the easy part. they do all the work. And I want everybody to know they do the work. I might be the voice, but they're the effort. And wherever you are in the world, if you heard these men's story, their mid-20s, somewhere in there, 10 years ago, they came from modest means. They came from meager homes. They came from hardworking parents that lived on less money than month. So wherever you are now in the world watching this, literally know that the people, the men and women behind the scenes here, they literally, in less than a decade ago, lived exactly where you live now. And now they don't, I can tell you. And how? Well, because each one of them individually was able to go out, find methods to learn a new career. And because they did that, the foundation, the framework of everything I do with the live stream, everything I do with Project Smile, my Instagram page, is because these men have chosen this career. So if you want a career in social media, we've got a career module on there. You want a career on farming, you want a career on, you name it. There's 20 different things. Over time, there's going to be 200, and we're real excited about that. So the big announcement for today, our goal, our first true goal is 1 million downloads. And as of 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we had over 49,000 downloads. So when this nice woman was asking me, she says, Joe, what's your measure of success? Like, how do you measure it? I say, we measure it in downloads. Now, where are those downloads going? I don't know. But I know if somebody's downloading something, they have access to information they didn't have prior to Project Smile. And we've just begun. The original goal is 1 million. We're 4.9% of the way there because of all of you. Our live stream last 2 weeks ago had over 57,000 people. I don't know how many people are on today. I don't care if it's 150,000 or if it's 40. That isn't what I'm really pursuing. I'm pursuing to create a vehicle that every 2 weeks, people around the globe can listen in. Hopefully we bring a smile, and hopefully we give some hope in a way that makes your day better. That's why we're here, and that's what we're doing. So my book, I was mentioning that earlier. If you go to projectsmile.world, go on the founders page, within the next 2 weeks, it will be available for free download. Please download it. My current book, the book I wrote literally 25 years ago, called Healing Addiction, that's a niche book. I hope most people never have to download that book. I hope most of you are not in the place I was 35 years ago, where I drank every day and the drug of my choice was marijuana. I hope you're not. So I love that my book has been able to keep over 1,200 people company through a dark night. But I promise you, my hope, my prayer is that most people that come to Project Smile don't need that kind of book. If you do, download it. If you know somebody, download it, give it to them. Download it and forward it. People don't have to come to Project Smile to read my book. If you have it in your possession, please, you heard it here. It's yours. Give it away. Now with everybody needs to read We. Everybody. If we've got 20,000 people on this call, or 2,000 or 1 million, everybody needs to read We. Why? Because We talks about the transformation of consciousness. We as a humanity are changing. Let me give you an example. 150 years ago, 170 years ago, perfectly normal around the globe to own a human being. Less than 200 years ago. Here in the States, and I can't speak about the globe. I'm not a historian, but I know here in the States, 50, 60, 70 years ago, quite honestly, if you weren't a white man, a white male, you didn't have a whole lot of rights. They acted like you did, but you didn't. And that's why there was the civil rights movement, the women's movement. That's why the Berlin Wall fell. Human consciousness is constantly growing and evolving. And we're now at a time in human history where we're the generation of change. Me, you, everybody on calls like this, we are that generation of change. And I say that not to dismiss the truth. And what is the truth? There are still atrocities happening out there. Of course there are. But it's the minority, it's the minuscule, the mass awareness and the mass awakening that's happening to the world is that more and more people are waking up to a grander sense of themselves. My book, We, puts that really all in digital form. Download it, read it. Tell me what parts of it you connect with. On our website, you have a place where you can download and upload a smile. Please do. Please tell us your story if you have one. We want to hear about it. We want to hear about how what we're doing here is helping because it just feels good. It feels good to do that. One of the reasons that I believe we as a humanity can truly make a difference is because of this thing called prolonged caregivers. And prolonged caregivers are basically people that in their past, I know people that have, been doing it 20 years. And I know people that have been doing it 6 or 7. But somewhere on their past, they go to a place and the place needs a need. That community they walk into needs some type of need. And they're spiritually led to support and help. And then a year passes and they're still doing it. 10 years pass, it's still doing it. 20 years pass, they're still doing it. Literally a future guest, it's going to be on in December. He started an organization called the Blue Dragon in Vietnam. Now, this man and his organization over the past 20 years have supported and rescued over 3,400 street kids. And I remember when he said it to me, my heart just exploded. And Project Smile, our role is to continually find these different organizations, and any way we can support them, we will. We're going to have a part on our page over time where these long, prolonged caregivers are going to be advertised on our page. So if somebody wants to support them directly, they can. If somebody wants to support them financially through Project Smile, you can. And that's all part of how we're giving back. And I genuinely believe there's an entire world of people out there now that the mannerism in which they go from gratitude to grace, accomplishment to giving back, is money is what they have to offer. And in my world, I have the financial means to support sometimes. Avril has done it several times himself. We're creating an environment where more and more people are going to be able to do their part in the overall picture of things. Now, I've got 2 gentlemen in Africa. These men are in their mid-30s. Both of them grew up in challenging childhoods. Both of them were orphans in their own world. Well, now they're 25 years later. And both of these men, both of them could leave at any point. They could take their wives and their child and leave, but they don't. And I asked him straight up, why? Like, what is it? And I knew the answer. And the one gentleman who's got a wife and a little girl says, I would never leave these kids, Mr. Joe. I would never leave them. And thank God, because without him, these 22 young people, I don't know what they'd be. I don't know where they'd be. He's one of the people that we're creating, we're working hard to hopefully over time raise enough money to get them a water tank. That's one of our first big projects, a water tank for that community. Literally, they walk every day to collect dirty water. Well, we're going to help change that. The other gentleman, he's got 44 kids, 44 little kids, and he's got a store, and we're helping anytime we can. Somebody helps. We put out different GoFundMes. We help give him more merchandise to sell. So here's these 2 amazing caregivers. Project Smile is about investing in the caregivers. Now, I've got organizations, Tom Flame's organization down in Dominican Republic, they already raise $1.5 million a year, but they need $1 million more a year. Why? Because they're tackling the entire water circumstance in Dominican Republic. So Project Smile, our voice is going out there, and we're the bridge between people with money and caregivers on the street. That's kind of our message. That's our voice. Now, literally, Project Smile as a group, as a platform, We're here to educate the world, and we're going to make sure we do our part. Originally, our goal is 5 million. We're almost to 50,000. Our goal is 1 million. We're almost to 50,000 now. You know what's going to happen. Well, you don't know me that well. As soon as we hit the goal of 1 million, I'm going to ask Avril, how do we get to 10? And you know what happens when we get to 10? I'm going to ask Avril, how do we get to 100? Well, the great news is Avril is introducing me to people, and Avril and his group is who's bringing me to Dubai. So next, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Dubai, one of the wealthiest places on the planet, with these amazing people, with these amazing hearts, with a tremendous amount of credibility and a tremendous amount of exposure. So Avril is introducing me to people there. One man, his name is Sahil, and Sahil has a global availability through his work, through his marketing, through his business over the past 10, 15 years to help Project Smile go to those next levels. And through Avril's guidance and Sahil's experience, we're going to continue to take Project Smile global. And why? Because everybody on this call matters to me. Everybody listening here today, you matter to me. You really do. And you matter to me far beyond our human experience. You matter to me because divinity says we're all one, the we. We're not connected through our physical. We're not connected through our religions, the colors of our skin, or our gender. We're connected through our spiritual sense of self. And the more you understand that, the more we as a world understand that, the more we can help people live that way in a grander position, the more we heal the world. And that connection, that sense of self, that availability to live as your higher self is not income related. It's not. It's not gender related. It's not. It's not where you live. It's not your religion. It's not your ethnicity. It's none of that. It's not the color of your skin. We're all created in a spiritual image, and through that connection is how things really change. The we in my book talks about human self, higher self, inner self. As humanity understands that we're a multidimensional being, not a singular entity, we're multidimensional. And then as that understanding grows, and people like us, we get together, and people like us, we create a world where the message of our divinity just continues to connect with each other. The more and more that connects, the more and more we, as a group, create a movement. I call it the smile, a movement that heals humanity, literally. And we're at 50 some odd people watching last week or 2 weeks ago. I hope we have that same number today. I hope we have double. But am I satisfied with 100,000? No, I'm not. 1 million? No. 10 million? Maybe. 100 million? Yes. Why? We help change the consciousness of 100 million people. 100 million, I'll talk to a few. You get to 1 billion, we change the consciousness of 1 billion people. We've made a true movement to heal humanity. And that's the goal here. So I always leave with the same idea. How do you know? How do you know, the person watching this show right here, this video, how do you know if you're living from your higher sense of self or not? It's simple. Look around the room. Look whoever you're in the room with. If your actions, if your words, if your support, if your connection to people around you is causing them to have a smile, then you're living from the highest sense of yourself in that moment. If you're an audible person, if you're someone that kind of connects to words and connects to sound and all that, listen for the voice in your head. Listen for the voice that is a glass full voice, the favorable voice, the loving voice, the kind voice. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have all the rest of the voices. You are. We're human. And I'm telling you right here, unless you're walking on water or raising people from the dead, we all have something to learn, all of us. Well, you hear that voice, that glass full voice, and you act on that voice. And the more you do it, the more practiced you become at it. It doesn't necessarily remove all of the other human voices. It doesn't. But the more you live from a higher you, that glass full you, the more you're going to feel better about yourself. The grander you feel about yourself, spiritual law says your external world has to change, and it will. Now, if you're an empath, if you're somebody that senses things, feels things, you're more connected in your emotion, then you're going to either feel it in your heart or in your belly. And when you're being guided to take some type of action, whatever the action is, if you take the action and your heart feels open, your heart feels full, your heart feels fluttery, or your stomach just knows you're doing the right thing, then you're living from your higher sense of self. If you take those same types of actions and things get closed down or things become less than, then that's human self. So, but the easiest way to truly know, look around the room. And I don't care your income stream. I don't care where you live in the world. I don't care a lot of money, no money, nourished, malnourished, black, white, Christian, Muslim. None of that matters. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we're all created in God's image, that divine sense of self, as we learn how to live it, as we learn how to follow it, as we learn how to connect to that part, we will naturally, all of us, connect in humanity. So thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. I am super excited. The next time you see my face, I'm going to be in Dubai. I've never been to Dubai, and I'm really excited to be there. I'm really excited to meet these people. I'm really excited to learn that culture. I'm just blessed that they're welcoming me into that community. And I'm doing a TEDx there on the 16th of October, but we'll be doing our live stream live from Dubai on October the 15th. The gentleman who's going to be on that live stream is just an amazing human being. And we're super excited to have him. We'll be advertising who that is on Project Smile. So join us, tell everybody you know, and together we're changing the world, one smile at a time. Thanks for being here.